Hi, this is MJ Durkin. Welcome to the Ultimate Leadership course. I'm really excited to be bringing this program to you. It is a compilation of probably 7 years of studying some of the best network marketers, literally millionaires, 100,000aires, and listening to all of their great tips and ideas about how to actually build leaders. Now, most leadership courses focus on how you can be a leader, but I'm going to actually show you in this course how to build leaders. One of the problems that I think that many of us have in network marketing is the idea of trying to find someone. I hear all the time, well, we need to find someone who's going to duplicate you. I need to find the leader. Many times people say to me, I'm frustrated. I can't find someone who's willing to do the things that I'm willing to do or the things that I have done. Wrong, wrong, wrong from all of the experts that I have talked to. And believe me, that I get a chance to see all of the best practices of all of the great companies and literally some of the greatest network marketers, relationship marketers, if you will, in the world. And one of the things that they will tell you is that you do not find leaders, you build them. If you can understand that, is the whole purpose of this course, is to teach you how to build a leader, to literally build someone to become a leader in spite of themselves. We know that when you bring most people into relationship marketing, probably 95% of the people that will come onto your team are people that are not professional salespeople. They are not natural networkers. They are not natural speakers. They're not great natural salespeople. Once in a while, you'll find someone like that. But for the most part, the people that you'll be bringing into your business don't have a clue about how to start their business properly, and that's why you build leaders, you don't find leaders. Finding them won't work because you're correct. Very few people will be able to duplicate your level of determination, ambition, and skill. Remember, in many cases, it takes 3, 6 to 9 months, even up to a year of going to meetings, going to trainings, listening to conference calls, becoming trained, listening to CDs, reading books, using the information and the tools that are in the back office of your company. If we can get a person to stick around long enough, they can learn the skills to build the business. But what do we know about the first 30 to 60 to 90 days? Well, we know that in the first 60 to 90 days, if your new person doesn't get a fast start, if they don't recruit or sponsor a few new people, if they don't get some hope that they've got someone under them and something can happen, if they're not starting to see some volume, if they're not seeing a paycheck, we know that they are on a limited basis are going to be on your team and are going to stay on your auto ship or whatever version of your monthly use of the product or your service is. So this course is designed to help you to build someone into a leader. Now, I'm going to tell you that this Ultimate Leadership course is not for the faint at heart. This is a course that will cause you to do a tremendous amount of grunt work. I'm going to tell you, if you've been out of the trenches for a while, you're going to be back in the trenches with what I'm going to show you. No doubt, you're going to have to get in the mud and muck around and build some leaders. However, the good news about that is if you're willing to do it, I'm going to teach you how to do it in the most efficient way you have ever seen done. I'm going to show you a technique that a person that made $80,000 a month in network marketing for the last 10 years actually revealed the secret to me and showed me how he built leader after leader after leader that was making up to $100,000 a year in his relationship-oriented marketing business. You're going to love what I'm going to show you. I'm going to highly recommend that you follow these steps and that you do them as I lay them out to you. And you'll see in this first video that we're going to talk about some of the mistakes and some of the issues. Now, if you don't relate to these issues, if you don't relate to these problems, well, quite frankly, I don't know that you've actually been building a network marketing business and going through what you really need to go through in order to build it. I think you'll identify very strongly. As a matter of fact, every time I've done this seminar live, every time I've done a coaching call on this topic, the distributors, the reps, the consultants, the vice presidents say to me, they answer every question in the affirmative about what happens that is wrong, that kills their leaders, things that their new people do or that they do with them that literally cause them to fail. Almost to a person, they answer these questions that I'm about to ask you and tell me that this is what happens every single time. So let's see if this is really viable, and let's talk about when you have signed people up in your business, what has happened when you show them your business, you show them their opportunity, you show them your business plan, your compensation plan, and then they say, yes, I will sign up. Here's the $100, here's the $300, here's my auto ship, I'm excited, I believe in it, I'm ready to go. Let's assume that you did an opportunity meeting. Let's assume that a person at the end of that meeting, some kind of business presentation, says, yes, I'm going to sign up. They fill out your application online or in person, on paper, and they give you the credit card, they give you the money, and let's say they go into the system. So they are officially signed up. They have skin in the game. You've done a major part of your job. However, you need to know you're not done yet, not by a long shot, and what you're going to do next is very, very important and very critical. Let's talk about some of the common mistakes that typically happen right after you sign someone up. So you sign someone up that night. Now it's 9 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock at night. The paperwork is done, you're excited. You have a new rep, a new consultant, a new distributor, a new person in your business, a new business partner, whatever you may call it in your business. You're excited, you're like, okay, got one. This is fantastic. Now it's 10 o'clock at night. It's probably too late to get into a lot of details. And we send that person home and we say, listen, I'm going to call you tomorrow or you call me tomorrow and we're going to get you started. Now, if your person goes and they go home or they leave your business presentation, whether it's in the morning, the afternoon, or it's late in the evening, chances are they're going to start to do something. They're going to go do something that we know is going to cause them and is probably going to cost you a leader or at least cost you a distributor. They're going to go do something. By the way, you might have said to them, you're going to need to make a list. You're going to have to make a warm market list of all the people that you know, your friends, relatives, neighbors, and work associates. And we're going to help you to make a list of 25 to 50, maybe even 100 people of the people that you know that we're going to approach about this business. And by the way, new rep, new distributor, new consultant, I want you thinking about who we can approach about this business. And you might even say to them, I want you to make a handwritten list. You might even hand them, maybe you hand them an MJ Durkin a blank list, a 48 space list, and you hand it to them. And you say, okay, I want you to go home and make this list. And I want you to write these names and numbers of all the people, friends, relatives, neighbors, your warm market. I want you to write these all down. If we send that person off, now I want you to think about this, interact with me if you will, as if you were sitting in my audience and I said to you right now, the person watching this video, the distributor watching this video, if we send that person off and we send them to go and we're not there with them and they go home, so to speak, or they go to work the next day, what are they going to do? Well, you know your answer would be that one of the first, and believe me, 99% of the time the answer comes back to me is that they're going to go talk to their brother, their father, their mother, their neighbor, their best friend, or their buddy at the factory or at the place, the office that they work in. They're going to do what I call in my book, Your First 90 Days in Network Marketing, they're going to have an over-the-fence conversation. Yes, they're going to casually mention, maybe even excitedly mention, that they got into a business, that they're now representing a certain product or a service. And tell me what's going to happen to them. Well, we know what's going to happen to them. They're not professionals. They don't know how to talk about the business properly. They are probably going to say too much. They are either going to be too excited, explain it improperly, or they're going to have no credibility with the people that they explain it to. So you tell me, if they talk to 5 people, what is going to happen? Answer the question for yourself. Well, here's what's going to happen. They're going to get their face ripped off. They're going to hear negative. They're going to hear that network marketing doesn't work. They're going to hear that your particular company or product has already been through their town, their city, the Northeast, the Midwest, and it didn't work. They're going to hear that somebody's going to say to them, I had a good friend who was a great salesperson, and that person couldn't make it in that particular business. Boy, they're going to hear everything from, their best friends are going to say to them, you'll never be able to succeed at this. It won't work. You'll never be able to do it. I remember last year somebody said to me in a seminar, they said, hey MJ, would you agree that the reason that people don't get into network marketing is because even if they love the idea, even if they love the product, that deep down inside they ultimately believe, well, I can't do this. I don't have the confidence to be able to do it or the skills. And I said, absolutely, that's totally why people do not join you in your business. And if you get them to join you in your business, and they go and talk to the first 5 people about your business, and they do it in I'll say an incompetent way because they haven't been trained yet, they don't know what they're doing, they're not professional network marketers, and they're not professional salespeople, they're going to go down in flames. They're going to crash. And if they crash, you may never even get them to return your call. By the way, have you ever signed someone up and then they went into the network marketing witness protection program and you never saw them again, right? And absolutely, someone in their inner circle blows them out of the business, wipes them out, just totally destroys them, and now they're gone forever. You did all that work. You put their name and number on a list. You got an appointment with them. You got them to come to your op meeting. Finally, after 3 months of chasing them, they get signed up. They give you the money. They give you the credit card. And they go and talk to the first 5 people that they can the next day, and your distributor is gone. Number 1 mistake is you let people go and talk to someone. We're going to talk about how to deal with that. Number 2, the number 2 mistake is that we send people off to make the list by themselves. I've asked this of hundreds of network marketers. I say to them, so if you tell someone to go home and make a list, if you put a list in their hand, if you tell them where to download it, if you show them in their starter kit where there is a list, there are memory joggers, there is a place for them to actually make a list. How many of those people, if you send them home to make the list, let's use an example. You send 10 people. You send 10 people home and you say, okay, this is how this thing works. You make a list of your top 25 to 50 people that you know, and we're going to get, and I'm going to show you how to get in front of those people and show them our opportunity. If you send those 10 people out to make the list by themselves, I ask network marketers all the time, so tell me, how many of them make the list? Maybe 1. And the usual answer I get is none of them make the list. Absolutely sad but true. If you send someone to make a list, and this is absolutely the revelation that I had from this gentleman, the $80,000 a month man, who said to me, MJ, I've been doing this for 25 years. Whenever I've asked someone to go home and make a list, they've never made it. He said, that's why when I sign someone up new, if I have time that night, I make the list with them right there. And if they won't make a list, if they won't sit down with me and make a list, then I know that they're never going to build the business, and I'm able to determine who I should work with and who I should not. I never had anyone so clearly say it to me. I had heard it in bits and pieces, but this gentleman said to me how he went out and built 20 to 30 really strong leaders making, $80,000 to $100,000 a month in his business. That he always sat down with them and helped them to make the list. We'll talk about that in the actual solution, but it blew my mind when he said to me that if you send someone home to make a list, that 9.8% of the time or excuse me, 98% of the time, they will not make the list. 9.8 out of 10 people will never do it. Now, let me ask you, network marketer, if they don't have a list, can they build a business? Can they build a business by making a list in their head of 5 or 10 people that they know? And will that work? No. As a matter of fact, how did your business work? You sat down and you either made a list or your sponsor prodded you, cajoled you, forced you, threatened you into making a list, and then you contacted those people. We'll talk about that in a minute. But mistake number 2, if we send someone off to make a list by themselves, they'll never make it. And if they never make it, they have no business. So if you sign someone up and they don't make a list, they're never going to build a business. They're never going to get to first base. At the most, you might be able to keep them in for 30, 60, 90 days on an auto ship until they decide, I'm not making enough money and I need to bail out. Now again, if they made that list, if someone actually made the list by themselves, and horror against horrors, they went and they called the 25 people that they put on the list, what do we know is going to happen? In the odd chance that the 0.2 people out of 10 actually make the list, if they make the calls, we know what's going to happen. They're not going to get the appointment. They're going to get their face ripped off. They're going to become discouraged. They're going to, after 4 to 5 calls, most of them are cooked. They're done. They're out for the count. They are not going to build a business. So even if they make the list and they start calling people, we know that they're in big trouble. So mistake number 3 is asking any distributor, consultant, or rep to go ahead and make a list and start calling people. One of the craziest things you could do is ask someone, for instance, I handled this question on a webinar the other night. A gal said to me, she said, I talked to a couple of my customers about hosting a party. And I said, would you please host a party? And they said, yes, I would love to host a party. And she said, if you host a party, I'll give you some free products. As a matter of fact, a lot of free products. Like you could get several, hundreds of dollars worth of your favorite product you could get for free. Those people came back to her and said, well, I made some calls and nobody's interested in coming. I can't host a party for you. Well, of course, their customer couldn't get a party booked because the customer might love the product, but the customer is not a professional. The customer doesn't know the approach to use unless they're really a really good people person, a really good networker, they're a really great bonder, or they've got some great Jedi mind tricks. They're not going to be able to do it. Stop looking for people that can do it. Most people cannot do it. They cannot do it by themselves, and we need to stop asking them to do that. So the third mistake is that people actually make a list and call some people, and they come back to you and they say, this isn't working, it's not happening, I couldn't get anybody to come over, I couldn't get them to attend a party, an opportunity, meeting, or even to meet with me for coffee to talk with me about it, and they're dead in the water, it's over. Mistake number 4 is that you offer, how can I say this? In a very open, in a very honest, in a very giving, loving way, you tell your new distributor, your rep, your consultant that you have a system and that you offer to plug them into the system, and you immediately start telling them, and any good leader will start telling his or her people that there is a conference call every Sunday night, that there is an opportunity meeting, say once a month or every Wednesday night at the Holiday Inn. Every Wednesday you need to be at that meeting. Or we do a Super Saturday every quarter, and the company comes in and puts an invests resources and comes in. We have speakers. You need to be at this function. We've got one coming up in 2 weeks. We've got conference calls. We've got back office training. We've got video training. We've got all of these great things, and you offer, how can I say it? You offer it up on a silver platter, and you say to them, here are all the things that I want you to plug into. Now, when you say this to a distributor, to a new distributor, rep, consultant, and you say to them, okay, here is the conference calls, everything is laid out for you. What are the chances? What is the percentage? Say, okay, so we say this to 10 people. We have a conference call every Sunday night. We've got a quarterly Super Saturday. And every other Wednesday night, we have a business presentation or an opportunity meeting at the Holiday Inn. If you attend them all, you'll be successful. You need to attend them. Say that to 10 people. You answer for me in this video. Answer it to yourself. If you say that to 10 people, how many of those 10 people will show up? Well, we're probably at 1 out of 10. Maybe if you're lucky, 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 is not enough. As we know, events drive the business. Training drives the business. Getting people to the conference call, getting them to the weekly business presentation, getting them to a quarterly Super Saturday, getting them to a regional meeting, getting them to a national convention so they can see thousands of people in a room and see the power of the business. That is the key. But if we offer it up to them and say, here is the calendar, and we suggest that they plug into it, we know that only 1 or 2 out of 10 will actually attend those events. Now, what do we know about people who don't get plugged in? If they don't get plugged in, if they don't get the juice, if they don't buy association, if they're not hanging out with people that believe in the business, that love the products, that are edifying the leadership, that are edifying the company, if they don't get involved in those events, those conference calls, those trainings, they're not going to make it. So the fourth mistake that we make is we offer up in a very easy manner. We allow anybody to come to any training. We say it's open for you to come, and we hope that you'll come. We hope that you'll attend. We hope that you'll be there. And we, of course, like I said, we offer it in a very, a very open way. Not, as a professional speaker, I'm not really finding the word, but here it is. We make it too easy for them to attend training. And as a result, they don't attend the training, they don't attend the meetings, and they don't plug in. If they don't plug in, then we're going to lose them as distributors, reps, or consultants. Wouldn't you agree with that? I'm sure that you would. So this sets up the techniques. This sets up the attitude. This sets up the inner game that I want you to have. And I want you to really understand and be clear that if someone that you sign up goes and talks to somebody, they're going to get destroyed, they're going to get demotivated, they're going to get wiped out. If they don't make a list, if you send them off to make a list, they will not make it. 99% of the people will not make that list unless you help them. If they do make a list and start calling people to invite them to a meeting, they're going to get killed. And if you just make it too easy for people to attend training or to attend your business presentations or your conference calls, they'll never attend them. Is this stinging? Is this making you mad right now? I hope that it is, because I know it's true, because I've had hundreds and hundreds of people as I've done this coaching session and done this Ultimate Leadership course with them. They've said to me, yes, 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 yes. Unfortunately, this is not a survey that you want to be getting 100% on and saying yes to, but chances are that you said yes to all 4 of those. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go on to the next video, and we're going to start teaching you how to actually build leaders instead of trying to find them. Let's go to the next video.